Niall Stanage now, White House columnist with our partner, The Hill. Niall, thanks so much for being here tonight.
Good to be with you, Natasha.
So, Niall, there is a new interview from former President Trump today that is making headlines. Let's listen to part of it together quickly.
He said, I would never give myself a pardon.
Even if you were reelected in this moment?
Well, I think it's very unlikely. What did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. She's responsible for January 6th.
Mr. President.
Nancy Pelosi's responsible.
Okay, so these are two of the sound bites making headlines right now. First of all, let's start with him saying that he would pardon himself if he regains the Oval. Should we believe him? And let's start with that, Niall. Should we believe him?
So what I took him to be saying is that it's very unlikely that he would pardon himself. That's obviously a statement that has quite a large loophole within it, Natasha. Very unlikely things happen quite frequently. Obviously, there is a distinction here between the federal cases against him, where a re-elected president would have that power, and the state-level cases, that is New York about falsification of business records, allegedly, and the Georgia case about alleged election interference, where he would not have the power, even if re-elected, to pardon himself.
Yeah, and even back in 2021, we were seeing commentary on the GOP side blaming Nancy Pelosi for the January 6th attack. Will it help Mr. Trump in his case to the undecided American public continuing to make false assertions about January 6th?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that everyone came to their own conclusions about January the 6th, probably on the night of January the 6th or the morning of January the 7th. I mean, what you clearly had in the lead up to that day, one of the darkest days in modern American history, was the then president propagating, pumping out false claims about election fraud, his team losing overwhelmingly every time they tried to make those claims in court, and him encouraging people on their way to the Capitol to, if I remember the quote correctly, fight like hell, otherwise you won't have a country. To do all that and then say it's Nancy Pelosi's fault isn't going to fly with too many independent voters, I would say.
Okay, let's move now to President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy this week launching an impeachment inquiry. You actually wrote an article for The Hill calling this move a risky gamble. Tell us why.
Well, there are two ways that this could go. One way is that the impeachment investigation could uncover truly incriminating evidence that we haven't seen yet about the president himself. If that happens, it's clearly a political game changer. If that doesn't happen, there are a number of risks for Speaker McCarthy in pursuing this inquiry. One is moderate Republicans aren't enthused about it. The second is it has no chance of winning conviction in the Senate, and so Senate Republicans are also a little bit on edge about this. And then you go to the broader point about, is this, you were just mentioning independent voters, is this what independent voters want their politicians to be focused on when they have so many concerns around so-called kitchen table issues, inflation, and so on and so forth?
There's one more headline in Washington this weekend I want to get your take on. Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert kicked out of a theater during a performance of Beetlejuice, and she's caught on video vaping, dancing, taking selfies with the flash on, among other things. She is apologizing now. Just today, she said, I was a little too eccentric. I'm on the edge of a lot of things. What is the reaction in Washington to her backtracking responses to this incident?
I must say you were quite coy in your question, saying among other things. I think it's the among other things that has attracted quite a lot of people's attention. But like, I mean, I think opinions of this divide a lot depending on what one thinks of Congresswoman Boebert. Obviously, she's a polarizing figure. My own view is that there are previous controversies she's been involved in that are more outrageous than this one. But, you know, she's made her apology, and there we are.
Okay, Niall Stanage, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for speaking with us.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.